We all dream of snatching easy fortune. We believe an avalanche of cash wipes away troubles, allows buying without limits, and reigning as absolute master. Yet history unveils a cruel truth. This wealth stolen from the skies turns into slow poison. Here unfolds the tragic tale of imperial Spain. In the 16th century, Spaniards do not merely win the lottery, they uncover the world's vault. They unearth the vastest silver reserve ever seen. They lord over the planet, first to stretch their realm where the sun never sets. Their armies crush all foes, their ships plough the oceans, and God appears to bless their ventures. Then they watch helpless as everything bursts into flames. They absorb economics' harshest lesson. Gold does not forge prosperity. Gold behaves like an addictive toxin, and Spain prepares to drown in it. To grasp this catastrophe, let us climb back to the arid, frozen Andean plateau in modern Bolivia. The year stands at 1545. The spot bears the name Potosí. Before that moment, Spain impresses with warriors hammered in the Reconquista. Deeply devout and toughened by battles, these men favor the sword over the ledger. Everything flips when Diego Gualpa, a local indigenous man, stumbles chasing a llama. To regain balance, he clutches a bush. Roots tear free, revealing shimmering veins of pure silver. He uncovers the Cerro Rico, the rich hill. This geological whim defies imagination. The entire mountain brims with massive silver ore. Astonished Spanish conquistadors recognize their long-sought El Dorado. They hurl themselves into exploitation, and Potosí shifts from hostile desert to colossal city. In mere decades, its population surpasses London or Paris. This metropolis throbs with greed, brutality, and unheard-of fortunes. Perched at 4,000 meters, rarefied air forces men to gasp at every step. To extract silver, Spain demands massive labor. The economic miracle springs from human nightmare. Colonists enforce the meter, forced draft of natives. Tens of thousands of men dive into dark, suffocating tunnels. They toil in weekly rotations, denied sunlight, hauling huge sacks up rickety ladders. Legend whispers that squeezing Spanish coins yields blood. Locals dub the mountain the one that devours men. Extracting ore falls short. Low-grade impure metal, it requires innovative technique, mercury amalgamation. They crush rock, mix in toxic mercury, and men tread it barefoot. This chemical process revolutionizes industry. It enables production at humanity's unprecedented scale. Figures stun. From 1550 to 1800, Mexico and Peru supply 80% of global silver, most rushing to Spain. Smelters turn metal into ingots, then into pieces of 8, legendary currency. This global money circulates from Shanghai to Seville, Boston to Bombay. Twice yearly, the Flota de Indias assembles in Havana. These convoys of heavily armed galleons laden with billions in today's value skim the sea under their burden. At their site off Spain's coast, bells peal everywhere. The king exhales relief. Bankers rub hands gleefully. The revelry lasts another season. Spain asserts itself as Europe's instant superpower. Its tercios, invincible infantry squares, sweep battlefields. Cathedrals rise adorned with gold leaf. Charles V, then son Philip II, rule as cosmic lords. They hold God appointing Spain to lead the world. Their fatal blunder emerges here. Before silver heaps, they declare their lavishness. They unwittingly sow ruin's seeds. They mistake money for true wealth. Money merely intermediates exchanges. Wealth arises from production, foods, garments, tools, vessels. Spain unearths endless silver flow while draining creative capacity. The metal numbs the empire. It delivers vertigo of invincibility. Yet at economy's core, vital organs wither. Peasants abandon ploughs. Blacksmiths shelve hammers. Why sweat when fleets near? Addiction roots deeply. Picture yourself as Seville's shoemaker in 1550. This city gateways the Americas buzzing with gold fever. Suddenly ships dock. Sailors swarm, pockets jingling with coin. Nobles and troops stream silver. All crave your footwear. You act as shrewd trader. You hike prices without pause. Envision this wave hitting everyone, everywhere, all at once. The baker inflates bread, the landlord burdens rents, the weaver hikes cloth. Historians term it the price revolution. First major inflationary crisis of modern era. Tons of silver flood Spain. Money supply erupts while goods stagnate. Same shoes, same loaves. Long ago, European prices stayed flat. A loaf equaled 1400 or 1500 value. Now Spanish prices leap 400%. Our economies stomach 2 or 3% yearly inflation. In medieval world, this tidal wave shatters social order. The needy crumble. Wages lag as costs soar. The Spanish peasant notes bitterly that silver abundance buys less than his forebears' days. Hunger returns to countrysides, not from scarcity, but fractured currency. Elites face opposite blow, ruinous to national industry. Inflation renders all exorbitant in Spain. Local products forfeit edge, return to our shoemaker. His boots climb to 10 pieces, weighed by costly leather and food. His French or English counterpart, spared silver deluge, sells matches for 2 pieces. Spanish buyer shuns homemade. He rushes to French imports. Spain morphs into ravenous funnel. Silver tumbles into Seville by tons, then vanishes in weeks to France, England, Dutch provinces, Italy for vital buys. Spaniards endure hellish mines, treacherous seas, relentless pirates to deliver windfall to seated rivals. A folk saying arises: Spain swallows food, choose it for all Europe. A French onlooker mocks: everything costs dear there except silver. This dynamic scars Spanish soul. In England and Holland, merchant burghers ascend. They erect factories, shipyards, spinning mills to supply Iberian tycoons. In Spain, toiling becomes disgrace. Ideal Spaniard shifts from shopkeeper to hidalgo, lineage son. This landowning petty noble shuns manual toil, subsists on rents or royal stipends. Easy money shapes consumer and clerk nation. Aspiration: secure post near silver faucet, far from risky ventures. Spanish literature swarms with these phantoms, starving hidalgos, scorning labor from misplaced pride. They polish armors, hide penury, rather than soil hands in trade. While Dutch invent stock exchange and English hone farming, Spain rears churches and buys lavish velvet cloaks. Economy gleams on surface, decked in American spoils. Internally, it rots alive. No manufacturing, no innovation, only feverish wait for next convoy. This reliance breeds deadly frailty. Empire sways with wooden hulls crossing stormy, foe-infested oceans. Without favorable breeze, king fasts. Yet Philip II devours boundlessly. He craves not luxury but planetary dominance. He spends silver before arrival. Philip II reigns as Earth's mightiest man. In austere Eliscorial palace, flanked by monks and monstrous paperwork, he governs Spain, Portugal, Italian slices, Netherlands, Philippines, Americas. Planetary monarch, he deems his task divine. Smite creeping Protestantism and Ottoman Turks in Mediterranean. He wars ceaselessly, everywhere at once. These pride clashes bleed treasuries. He battles Ottomans at sea, capped by epic Lepanto. He challenges French in Italy. His raw wound lingers in Netherlands. Spanish province, capitalist and Protestant cradle, it rises up. Philip dispatches army of Flanders to smash it. 80 years war births, logistical horror. To supply Dutch front, Spain marches troops via Spanish road, Italy through Alps to northern Europe. Feed, pay, clothe 70,000 men, leagues away for decades. National industry, gnawed by inflation, struggles to forge arms. Often powder and cannons hail from foreign traders, even Dutch. Potosí silver arms, Spanish enemies. Then erupts English obsession. Elizabeth I appears heretic to Philip. Her privateers, Drake foremost, plunder fleets. In 1588, Philip stakes all. He unleashes invincible armada, costliest naval force ever, 130 ships, 30,000 sailors, countless guns. To fund, Philip taps not holdings. He wagers on future hauls. Thus emerges the dark underbelly of Iberian finances, the asientos. These short-term loans carry usurious rates granted generously by Genoese and German bankers like the Fuggers or Welsers. Philip boldly contracts these imperial microcredits without hesitation. He pledges to the lenders, advance 5 million ducats for the armada, and I will repay upon the fleet's arrival in 6 months. Dazzled by the treasure convoys, the lenders accept this enticing deal. They demand, however, 10, 20, or even 40% interest. The armada descends into absolute fiasco. It remains unbeaten by British superiority, but succumbs to contrary winds, misfortune, and rigid tactics. Storms shatter the fleet against Scottish and Irish coasts. Half sinks without return. Thousands of drowned fill the abysses. Philip reportedly sighs, "I armed my ships against men, not divine winds." The bankers disregard heavenly whims. They demand their due with firmness. The ships lie motionless, cannons rusted in briny seawater. The investment vanishes into smoke. The debt endures intact, with runaway interest unchecked. The resource curse morphs into a tight debt trap. By the 1570s, interests exceed the empire's entire fiscal revenues. Every tax collected and every American ounce proves insufficient for just those interests. No capital repayment emerges. The king pedals into infinite void. He borrows more to honour the old burden. He mortgages Spain for future centuries. He auctions off tax rights and noble titles. He squeezes peasants to the bare bone. The Genoese own the empire de facto in full. Gold unloads at Seville in heaps, then shifts straight to Italian ledgers. Spain becomes mere cartman for ruthless creditors. The system cracks at deep fissures. A mere fleet delay, furious hurricane, or pirate raid suffices for brutal collapse. People believe sovereign bankruptcy, a modern invention, Greek or Argentine. Philip II pioneers its model with blazing fanfare. The break erupts in 1557 without warning. French and Dutch wars empty royal coffers. The fleet lags by a hair. Bankers refuse further credit. Philip II rallies his court vigorously and decrees immediate payment halt. He stares down Europe's financiers. "I pay no more from now on." A financial cataclysm surges suddenly. In Antwerp and Genoa, banks crumble in one black night. Fortunes pulverize into dust. European credit freezes solid. This mirrors 2008 in the 16th century, the work of one man. The tragedy lingers. Prodigality endures unchanged. War and addictive imports grow costlier still. Lenders return nonetheless, imposing exorbitant rates for heightened risk. The spiral accelerates at full throttle. Spain defaults in 1575, 1596, then 1607, 1627, 1647 in sequence. An infernal cycle takes hold. Borrow wildly, squander everything, implode violently. The Spanish people agonize in silence. Without pay issued, soldiers mutiny furiously. In 1576, unpaid troops sack Antwerp, their own city, in the legendary Spanish fury. Fires ravage all while spoils pile up. This pillage ruins northern Europe's financial heart and fans the fierce Dutch revolt. Deep in the homeland, the throne attempts one ultimate desperate measure. Money flows endlessly to foreigners, leaving acute shortage for internal trade. The crown devalues sharply. Halt all public silver coins, usher in pure mass copper vellon. This debased currency lacks any real intrinsic value. The king mints billions on end and forces acceptance at pure silver rates. A stealth tax embeds itself slyly. Hyperinflation piles heavily atop the original silver inflation. Prices whirl in total chaos. Crowds hoard precious silver and spurn vile copper. The economy cleaves sharply. Elites and state in fine metal, paupers relegated to worthless vile tokens. The bourgeoisie annihilates body and goods. By 1600, the Spanish Golden Age writhes in death throes. Potosí veins deplete slowly. Spain, driven compulsive buyer, forgets how to manufacture anew. No robust English wool sector, efficient Dutch banking, dazzling French luxury. Castilian cities empty progressively. Populations plummet in free fall. Fields linger deserted and bare. The world empire slumbers deeply in tenacious dark poverty, Europe's chronic invalid. The Potosí veins wither gradually, and Spain grasps its inner abyssal void too late. Fleets shrink day by day, coffers drain irremediably, while debts stack like heavy unseen chains. The empire, once blazing with 1,000 fires, crumbles relentlessly under its cursed gold's crushing weight. This sequel reveals exactly how the curse endures mercilessly, turning radiant glory into persistent grim shadow. Philip II expires in 1598 after a tumultuous reign, bequeathing a crumbling kingdom on all sides. His son, Philip III, inherits a colossus with crumbling clay feet. Wars drag on ceaselessly, draining final vital reserves. The 30 Years' War bursts in 1618, impaling Spain in a devouring pan-European conflict. The tercios, once invincible in the field, wear fatally on Rocroy's muddy grounds in 1643, where French shatter their immortal myth. Starving, exhausted soldiers desert ranks en masse. Generals shout desperate orders amid ambient chaos, as rusted sabres clash against notched armour. Powder runs cruelly short, shot depletes swiftly, and the foe presses inexorably. Precisely then, asientos multiply endlessly as Genoese bankers tighten their metal vice. Philip IV, grandson of the founding Great King, signs repeated defaults in 1627, 1647, then 1652. Each time without fail, creditors hike rates mercilessly, locking the empire in eternal infernal vice. Royal intendants scribble frantic decrees day and night, hawking forests, ports, and colonial perks for scant reprieve. Hidalgos, bloated with proud vanity, still shun trade deemed vulgar. Madrid sinks irremediably into idle, stifling bureaucracy, lavish palaces sheltering chronic, hungry courtiers. Workshops moulder forgotten, looms rusted thick with dust. Rivals thrive off diverted Iberian metal. Dutch and English funnel fleeting silver to teeming naval yards. In vibrant Amsterdam, brokers wave parchments in smoke-filled taverns, birthing the nascent dynamic stock exchange. Dutch ships, winds filling billowing sails, rule eastern seas as spices and silks flood in. London beholds towering textile mills rise, acrid smokes rising from looms where workers pedal unceasingly. England pours vast into science, Galileo and Newton drawing from infinitely broadened trade. The Industrial Revolution simmers patiently, steam engines soon hissing in thick English mists. Spain, stripped utterly bare, beholds this grand pageant from sad deserted Castilian banks. Seville, once lively sparkling, dries like its muddy stagnant Guadalquivir. Wharfs echo bitter resigned murmurs, ruined merchants fold baggage forever. American colonies, drained by ruthless bloody meter, whisper swelling sullen revolts. In ghostly Potosí, native shades haunt collapsed galleries, faint pickaxe echoes resounding in emptiness. Toxic mercury still poisons barren soils, rivers hauling slow death to remote hamlets. Final smelted ingots bear indelible scars of heaped suffering. Madrid stubbornly ignores these omens, clinging desperately to faded imperial delusions. Olivares, all-powerful minister under Philip IV, attempts bold radical reforms. He expels Moriscos in 1609, stripping countryside of vital labouring hands. Fallow fields let winds sweep wild weeds and desolation, wolves howling eerily at nightfall. Expulsions rob factories of prized ancient skills, silks and leathers plunging into oblivion. The Inquisition tightens its merciless screw, pyres crackling in thronged plazas, sowing paralysing terror everywhere. Internal revolts erupt with unheard violence. Catalonia and Portugal rise in 1640, raging mobs wielding pitchforks against universally loathed intendants. Barcelona blazes under drawn-out fierce sieges, cannons thundering on cracked medieval ramparts. Lisbon proclaims triumphant independence, Portuguese fleet speeding to thriving Brazil, bearing lavish sugar riches. The empire shatters into 1,000 shards, provinces violently ripping from ancestral Iberian fold. Charles II, last Spanish Habsburg, enters the world in 1661, deformed and sterile, living emblem of irremediable physical decay. His courts ring incessant grim rumours, physicians helpless against advancing rot. Spain begs shaky alliances, French or Austrian, to endure one more day. Westphalia Peace in 1648 seals Iberian hegemony's end, engraved pacts locking loss of Netherlands and bygone prestige. By 1700, royal succession gapes in vast chaos, Europe pouncing on weakened carcass. French Bourbons ascend the throne, bearing needed centralizing reforms. Yet toxic legacy clings stubbornly. Limp paralyzed economy, population stalled at 7 million souls. Seville lingers pale melancholic shade, wharfs haunted by vanished galleon ghosts. Toothless sterile Potosí spews final wretched scraps. Andean gusts sweeping silver dust to timeless oblivion. Economic lessons echo forever across eras. The resource curse strikes whoever spurns production for easy illusory extraction. Potosí gold briefly lights palaces, then darkens all future vistas. Modern nations, heeding these warnings, dodge Dutch traps via diversification, innovation, and united collective toil. Spain pays dearly for its gilded delusion, etching a warning carved in humanity's annals. This imperial epic captivates with its cruel, relentless paradox. A metal avalanche breeds total, irreversible ruin. To dive deeper into historic falls and surprise triumphs, subscribe right now without delay. Hit the bell to miss nothing, like this video with zeal, and share it with your fellow history buffs. See you in the next epic gripping installment.